Did you know that your breathing affects your overall health and your brain? Hi, I'm Bernice Hunt, and I am a brain health specialist. I work with women just like you who are starting to notice a few memory challenges, and I help you to stay sharp so that as you age, you can still travel, have fun with your grandkids, and experience new adventures without missing a beat. As a public school teacher for over 30 years, I've taught a lot about cause and effect. And when it comes to your health, incorrectly breathing can be part of the cause to all kinds of things for your body and your brain. Now, did you catch my last video? I did a video a few days ago, and it was about slow breathing. We commonly call it deep breathing or belly breathing. So if you didn't catch it, it's still on my Facebook channel or my Facebook page, Keep Your Brain Sharp, so you can find it there. But today I wanted to talk more specifically about what you should focus on when it comes to proper breathing and why it makes such a difference. So, do you yawn or cough or get tired a lot? Do you have cold hands or feet? Do you have cramping? Do you have poor concentration? Do you have headaches? Do you have heartburn? Do you have anxiety? Do you have allergies? Do you have muscle pain, stiffness? Do you have poor memory? Do you have poor performance or panic attacks? Do you have sleep issues? Do you have stiffness in your joints? Do you have a tingling in your face or your hands or your feet? Well, you know, incorrectly breathing can be part of the reasons for all of those things happening, because dysfunctional breathing, improper breathing, incorrect breathing, whatever you want to call it, it affects your muscles. It affects your respiratory system. It affects your heart, your blood vessels, your nervous system, your gut, and your brain. So, wouldn't you like to know if you're breathing correctly, or if you're not? Wouldn't you like to get better at it? And guess what, guys? Learning to breathe properly doesn't cost you anything. It just tells you your diligence and your time and your knowledge. Okay, so that's why we're here today, to help you see that, you know, a lot of people are saying they can't afford this, they can't afford that. This is free, guys. Just learn how to breathe properly, and you can affect all those different areas. Worth a shot, isn't it? I think so. Okay, because there's three things to consider when you talk about proper breathing. One is biochemical, one is biomechanical, and one is psychological. So those are the three things that create proper or improper breathing. Okay, so let's start with the biochemical. What do we mean by biochemical? I'm talking about your oxygen and your carbon dioxide. There needs to be a balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in your blood vessels, okay? When you breathe, you're going to take that air in, right? And when you exhale, you're going to let out that carbon dioxide, right? But guess what? We don't want all of your carbon dioxide to go out. Carbon dioxide is necessary for your body. You need this, but you need the proper balance of it, okay? So how do you get that proper balance? It comes from deep breathing, movement, what a lot of us refer to as exercise, but movement is movement, and controlled breathing. So we're going to go a little deeper with those things. And when I talk about deep breathing, when I say to take a deep breath, a lot of people can confuse taking a deep breath with taking a big breath. If I say take a deep breath, a lot of people are, you know, that kind of thing. That's not what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about a deep breath, and then when you have the yoga people and all the therapists and things talk about deep breathing, they're talking about a quiet, relaxed inhaling from your diaphragm. Relaxed inhaling. A lot of people, when they take a deep breath, they tense up, they open their mouth, they have this loud noise, whatever, and they're breathing more from their chest than their diaphragm. That's not what we mean by deep breathing. It comes from down here, and you have to relax your body. You shouldn't be tensed up, okay? And you're breathing through your nose. Okay, so deep breathing is one thing. Exercise. movement. I thought it was pretty interesting. I read that 50 years ago, only 50 years ago, the average adult exercised some sort of exercise 4 hours a day. That was only 50 years ago. I'm going to tell you how old I was, but still, I was grown. Okay, 50 years ago, the average adult exercised 4 hours every day. Now, with some sort of exercise, just think about it. Just think about it. You know, in the kitchen, a lot of the things that we did in the kitchen was just some form of exercise, chopping and slicing and peeling and those kind of things, exercise, stirring, all that kind of stuff. Now we have appliances to do those things. Even opening a can opener. How many of you guys, it used to be manual. Now a lot of people, you do it electronically. Juicers, even squeezers that when you juice or squeeze the lemon to get the lemon juice, we had to do it like this. Making ice cream. Oh Lord, that was fun. But we had to manually do that. And now we have electrical ice cream makers, blenders, all that kind of stuff. So we're talking about any form of exercise. The average person exercise 4 hours a day. Don't even go out. Don't even talk about outside. Don't even talk about your lawn and all that kind of stuff. Because most of us either have a motorized one or you hire someone to do it for you. You know, but back in the day, a lot of that was not happening. Washing clothes, all those things, guys, just think about it. The average person exercises 4 hours a day. Do you know how much exercise the average adult gets now? It says less than 5% of the adults even exercise 30 minutes, some form of exercise, 30 minutes a day. That was astonishing me. Less than 5% get even 30 minutes. Oh my gosh, no wonder. And exercise is one of the things that keeps your balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in balance. And what does carbon dioxide do? It relaxes your blood vessels. It relaxes them so that they can dilate better, so that more blood can flow easier. The carbon dioxide's job in the blood vessels is to do that. And when you exercise, you're producing more carbon dioxide. You're allowing it to do that. The other thing is controlled breathing. So by controlled breathing, I mean that you're not over breathing. Over breathing is when you're making too many breaths. Okay? You're breathing too much. You need to slow your roll. You need to slow it down. They said your goal is to have 5 to 6 breaths per minute. So go ahead and time yourself and see, how many breaths, what that looks like for you. 5 or 6 breaths a minute is your goal. Slow, relaxed breathing. Not over breathing. One term we're very familiar with is hyperventilating. That's what that is. That's getting too much air. Okay, breathing too much. And so you don't want to do that. Optimally, you want that balance of carbon dioxide, which is not going to happen if you're pushing that air in and out too quickly. Okay, it needs to be some of it needs to stay in your blood vessels to relax your blood vessels. And what was interesting to me was I also read that some of our jobs promote a higher risk for over breathing. If you're like in retail, sales or telemarketing or even teaching, where you talk at length during the day, a lot of talking during the day, that encourages over breathing. And they say, do you notice why at the end of the day, a lot of times you feel drained, you feel tired, and they said you have a dry mouth, and they said also your heart rate is higher from talking all day and the breath coming in like that instead of coming in through your nose and exiting your nose. I thought that was interesting. So anyway, controlled breathing, movement, and deep breathing are what's going to help you balance your carbon dioxide and your oxygen in your bloodstream. So that is very important, and that's what's called biochemical. Okay, so the next one is mechanical. That's the one we usually think about. That's the one I usually think about when I think about deep breathing and proper breathing, your diaphragm, right? And so mechanical is talking about your diaphragm, your abdominal muscles, your ribcage muscles, those things that are assisting you in that breath process. And of course, the diaphragm is actually the most important. We think about our lungs and our chest, but the diaphragm is the muscle that's making all that happen. But what's also interesting was it also talked about your posture, because in order for your diaphragm to expand and contract effectively, efficiently, to get the proper air in and out, you're going to have a good posture. You can't be all slouched over. They're talking about like you sit in front of your desk all day slumped over, or driving your car, slumped over or whatever. Or even some people even standing or walking slumped over. Your posture needs to be erect so that it can get that proper flow, that proper mechanism, your diaphragm and your muscles working. They also talked about your spine. There's a connection between your diaphragm and your abdominal muscles and your spine. And if you have lower back pain or whatever, it's going to affect how you're breathing, and you're going to have more of a tendency to breathe from your chest. And so all of that plays a part. I thought that was very interesting. Okay, so you need to sit or stand erect, and you need to give your diaphragm enough space to move efficiently. Okay, I thought that was really, really important. So that's mechanical. The other one that we need to talk about is psychological. Okay, now we're talking psychological. We're talking about our emotions, our feelings and things. Real or imagined, doesn't matter to our body. It's going to react off of that, whether it's actually happening or not happening. And you all know that. You all know that when you get anxious and stuff, that your breathing changes and stuff. We know those kinds of things. And so it can work both ways. It can take us toward improper breathing, breathing too fast, breathing too often, overbreathing, that kind of thing. Or it can calm us down if we relax ourselves, if we meditate, if we take a deep breath, if we relax our muscles and put ourselves into that parasympathetic state, and our breathing changes. That's what they tell you, when you're all excited or whether, slow down. What do they say? Take a deep breath. They don't want a big breath. Take a deep breath. Relax. Okay, so the psychological aspect component also affects that as well. Now, here I jumped over about inhaling and exhaling through your nose. I want to go back to that because it's very, very important. It's called slow breathing. We call it deep breathing, but actually a more accurate term is slow breathing. And it involves taking 5 to 6 breaths a minute through your nose, inhaling and exhaling through your nose with your mouth closed and your muscles relaxed. Okay, so why do you want to breathe through your nose? Guess what, guys? The nose is connected or supports the respiratory system, not your mouth. Your mouth supports and is connected with the digestive system. It's your nose that is connected to your respiratory system. So the air is supposed to go through your nose. Yes, there are cases when you need to breathe through your mouth. If you have nasal congestion, of course, you need to breathe through your mouth because you need to get air in. So you get it in the best way you can through your mouth. Or if you're intensely exercising, you might have to start breathing a little through your mouth. But actually, the best thing with exercise is to breathe through your nose. Inhale and exhale. And I found that out for myself years ago when I exercised. I felt better. I had better performance when I closed my mouth and I breathed in and out through my nose. And I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. I didn't know the science behind it, but I know that was what happened with me. So I concur with the researchers. Okay. So anyway, but why else should you breathe through your nose? Your nose actually filters that air for you. Filters the air that's going into your lungs. Okay. So it's going to keep out your allergens, your pathogens, all the stuff that shouldn't be getting into your body. When you open your mouth, there is no filter. It's just going to come in. But the nose has a filtering system that filters it out. It also heats up your air, so it's not coming cold into your lungs. It also humidifies or moisturizes your air, something your mouth cannot do. In fact, when you breathe through your mouth, you're going to get dry mouth. Dry mouth is a breeding ground for bacteria. In fact, they say people that breathe through their mouth, or even if they sleep with their mouth open or whatever, and you get dry mouth, you are at higher risk for colds, for flu, higher risk for bad breath, higher risk for gum disease, and also for tooth decay. Because your mouth is not meant for that. Your mouth is for your digestive system. It's your nose that the air should be going through. And so it filters it. And they also, so you get 10 to 20% more oxygen when you're breathing through in and out through your nose. I thought that was interesting. Also, it releases something that's called nitric oxide, which is very, very important for your body. and it's made in the sinuses. And so when you're breathing out through your nose, inhaling, exhaling through your nose, you're going to produce that. And it also increases the usage of the carbon dioxide in there. It is also, nitric oxide is also antiviral, antibacterial, anti everything. So it's very, very necessary for you. And you get that produced when you breathe through your nose. It also helps lower your blood pressure. It also humidifies the air that's going down into your lungs, okay? So it's making it healthier for your lungs. Okay, so the bottom line is keep your mouth closed whenever you can. Now, here's the deal. If you sleep with your mouth open or you have a problem with that or whatever, you don't want to go cold turkey and just refuse to sleep with your mouth, tape your mouth closed or whatever, but they do recommend taping your mouth. But it's a process, guys. You want to start slow. You want to start slow with your breathing techniques. If you're going to start practicing the breathing and the slow breathing and all of that, start slow. Holding your breath, some of the breathing practices recommend holding your breath, which is a good thing because holding your breath temporarily increases the carbon dioxide that's in your bloodstream, which relaxes your blood vessels. So you do want to do that to a certain extent, exhaling longer than you inhale. You want to do those things, but you don't want to go overboard. You want to pace it and go slow and make sure you're not feeling a lot of discomfort and stuff in the process. It is a process, especially if you have asthma, COPD, if you have anxiety, any of those kinds of things. You don't want to just flip from one thing to the other thing. You want to make it a process because that's important that you go slow, okay? So here's the deal though. We are in our Facebook groups. I have two Facebook groups. I have Keep Your Brain Sharp Community and Keep Your Brain Sharp Partners. And this month in both of the groups, we are talking about controlling blood pressure, which deep breathing does help do. But next month, our Keep Your Brain Sharp partners are going to go more in depth into slow breathing or deep breathing or belly breathing or however you want to call it. But I want to call it slow breathing because it involves more than just your belly, more than just your diaphragm. Okay, so we're going to dive deeper into that next month in June for our KYBS partner Facebook group. So if you're interested in that, you can go to my website, keepyourbrainsharp.com, find where we're talking about partners and see what that entails. And we would love to have you join us. I just love talking and learning and sharing is wonderful. So if you're interested in your brain as well, you are welcome to join us. So your brain's destiny is in your hands.